So yeah. By the way, like just as we are on the topic of China, let's talk about Chinese lockdowns. Let's talk about zero COVID policy. Let's talk about absolute atrocity that is China right now. First of all, obviously, there is nothing left of like this China that welcomes foreign investment, that kind of wants to actually trade with the world and so on and so forth. Basically, Xi Jinping, he fucked everything up and threw everything out of the window. That's how these dictatorships go. I've heard rumors that this Communist Party might actually oust him, and yet no, he just got re-elected and no problems whatsoever. And in fact, who he like escorted Deng Xiaoping, I think. Was it Deng Xiaoping? Forgot who he escorted. Basically, previous leader of China. He just basically escorted because that guy was in opposition to him, and now he's ousted from the Communist Party, and now it's up. Basically, now it's up to Chinese people, in the same way as it's in Iran right now, to actually fight against this absolutely atrocious dictatorship, totalitarian machine, which is no small task really. So, just a quick recap: China has had this like zero COVID policy, constant lockdowns. People are being. I wanted like, I've seen those videos of people like there are like giant highways that are blocked off, and there was like one person, little like a looks like a fucking shipping container kind of things, built en masse in just giant, like I don't know how many, like thousands of them, just on the highway to basically quarantine people. What is it if not like a fucking labor camp? It's not like, I understand that it's not like people, at least seemingly, it's not like they're just sent there to kind of be prisoners and work for free, essentially. But the parallels, dude, the parallels that you're just taking people from the streets and sending them into solitary confinement. Like, what in the fuck? What in the fuck? And it's not working. And we can see across the whole world how much, first of all, how big of an inflation that the whole scenario created, stopping the production basically and just printing money and people not working and things like that, right? Now we have shortages of goods. Now we have higher prices and higher inflation because of those printed money. While all you had to do back then, you just had to allow people to continue to work however they wanted, instead of stopping the whole world. Economy must go on, unfortunately or fortunately. And now China is continuing to ruin their own country, but now they're doing this in a way worse manner even, because they're literally like taking people, like I'm saying, from the streets, and or even welding fucking doors of their houses so they can't get out of their homes. So shortages of supplies, relying just on food deliveries, has all been ongoing in the past couple months. Now mass protests start to happen, and especially big protests have started after the fire, basically in Urumqi, Xinjiang. I don't know, hard to pronounce these things. That killed 10 people because the building was basically locked and they couldn't fucking get out. Which is again, how is that different from? I mean, obviously, it's not intentional fire, but how is it different from fucking gas chambers? For fuck's sake, how is that different? It's not. And so now protests in the same way as in Russia right now, if you get out and protest with literally piece of paper, white piece of paper, you don't have even to write anything. You would be jailed. You would be not jailed, but you will be taken into custody into police. You would be like a what is it like a basically you would be fined, and there would be like a protocol about administrative. I think it's either administrative or maybe it's a criminal offense. No, probably administrative offense. Basically of fakes against Russian army. Just a white piece of paper. You don't even have to write like 4 piece on that list. So the same is happening right now in China. People are just going out to streets with white pieces of paper because they can't, they can't say anything really. But everybody understands everything. So this is all ongoing right now. And, well, sorry to break it, but once again, in exactly the same manner as I think that Iranian protests are unlikely to actually get anywhere really. I don't think this thing will go anywhere as well. Because these protests were already going like for 2 weeks, I think, so something like that, at least. And I mean, it's a dictatorship state with millions of policemen, army, whatever, who are most definitely, I can guarantee, paid well, and have way more weapons, obviously. And so I don't think this protest will go anywhere. Will get people anywhere. Unfortunately, because I've seen all of this happening in Russia and in Belarus already, and it didn't go anywhere. And if it does go somewhere, okay, good. I'm glad. It's amazing. It means that in some other parts of the world, something is better, and that's great. But I don't think you see the problem with these regimes is that they can go on, right? They have money. They can go on. Like, can you go on and continue to protest for month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? Can you really? I doubt it, because even like it gets annoying. It gets like, why are we doing this? It gets frustrating. It gets kind of. It just gets to you. Like, why are we doing this? Like, okay, we're going out to the streets, but we're not doing anything. We're not like storming some official building or something like that. We're not seizing the power. What are we doing? We're just wanting for these cunts like that, to actually listen to us. They fucking don't give a fucking flying single fuck about regular people. Not a single one. Not a single one. And they don't even care. Like the Chinese economy is slowing down, and obviously, like not only the world tries to move the production, like Apple is trying to move production of their products from China. They don't care really. For themselves, they have a lot of money. They will not be starving to death anytime soon. You, the rest of you, millions, billions, don't care. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's great that this is not just localized to something like Shanghai or Guangzhou or Beijing. It's good that the protests are happening in more cities and in bigger cities and in these regions. That's really interesting, if you know what I mean about these regions. On the east and north of the country of China. But I don't think it's enough. And especially because especially because China has so much control over the internet, over the means of communication. Dude, they can censor a lot of things. I understand that a lot of people kind of learned how to use VPNs and things like that, but they can still censor a lot of stuff. Meaning that organizing between people what to do next, how to pursue, and what to do just in general, it's hard. And also, I don't see like at least like I don't know that I've seen really. Is there like some leader of opposition or something like that, or is it just spontaneous mass kind of a event? Because as far as I can see, that it is just kind of spontaneous sort of event. But the problem with that is that, well, at some point it will become disorganized. At some point it will be just people, protesting, going out, whatever. But you need something more concrete. You need some plan. What do you try to achieve with this? And so far, yeah, I don't see that like step down to Xi Jinping, right? Democracy and rule of the law. It's all amazing, but you should have been trying to protect democracy and the rule of the law when China was suppressing that rule of the law in Shanghai. Was it Shanghai? In Hong Kong, sorry, in Hong Kong. Uh, when they were installing there and actually demolishing real democracy that Hong Kong have enjoyed. So yeah, I don't know. To me it looks bleak because every time I see people going up against the ginormous oppressive machinery like China, like Russia, like Belarus, like Iran, I don't see good outcomes for people. Just don't. I just don't see them. I just don't see how it can happen. So yeah. And the thing is, yeah, this zero COVID policy is so insane, especially because there are some vaccines right now, right? Like, do you trust them enough or not? Up to you to decide. But especially right now, I don't think like this virus is even that deadly after all these like millions and myriads, whatever mutations. It's not even that deadly anymore. So it's like just having the zero COVID policy is not about the zero COVID policy. It's about actually exerting control on people. And I think everybody knows that. I think people understand that, and it's extremely unfortunate because, well, you like just as a single person, right, or whatever, several people, it's almost impossible to stand against this giant oppressive machinery. So yeah, apparently China abandons key parts of COVID zero strategy. You can see it so just 1 hour ago, so I didn't see this news before. China is lifting its most severe COVID policies, including forcing people to quarantine camps just a week after Lengman protests. Okay. People with COVID can now isolate at home rather than in state facilities if they have mild or no symptoms. They also no longer need to show tests for most venues and can travel more freely inside the country. Citizens have expressed relief, but also concern about the sudden changes. Finally, I will no longer worry about getting infected or being taken away as a close contact. Can anyone explain to me what's happening? Why this change? Why is the change all of a sudden and so major? That's the thing. Like, if this is real, good for people, but you see, like, it started already. Like, it started to percolate in that realm where it's not protest about COVID anymore. It's the protest against Communist Party and Xi Jinping. What will happen now? That's how these regimes get to you. They give you the absolute bare minimum of freedom, the bare minimum of like food and things like that for you to survive, and then you kind of leave them alone. Because people that, just on a day-to-day basis, people don't need that much, unfortunately. And so when you encroach even on these like little freedoms, you get what China just did get. You get mass protests because people have nothing left to lose, because their lives can be and the freedom can be stripped away from them simply because somebody walked by close to them. This is insanity, obviously. But now, if they will get back these parts of freedom, people will forget about it, and everything will continue as it was before. And the thing is, a lot of people right now might say, okay, we got what we wanted. We wanted, to be more free. We wanted to not be stuck at home, right? And I bet a lot of people in China have enjoyed recent developments in recent years, like whatever, say, in the past 20 years, like going whatever from smaller villages and now to the cities and enjoying all the comforts and new gadgets and things like that, right? Like, yeah, you pay the price of censorship, you pay the price of basically forgetting about politics. It's the same thing as Russia. Basically, you don't touch us, we don't touch you, and we corrupt the country, we do whatever the fuck we want, and you just work, you have your own little thing, and that's it, right? Now, for a split second, with the zero COVID policy, Chinese completely lost control, lost their mind on trying to enforce more and more control. Now, probably they're coming to senses and thinking, wait. We don't want actually mass protests across the whole country because people have nothing to lose anymore, because we've stripped them from any dignity, anything really worth living for. So they don't care anymore. Now, if we give them back that thing, everything will go back to normal. And the scary thing is that probably it will get back to normal. Probably it will get back to normal. So yeah, it's really unfortunate. Really, really, really unfortunate that, seemingly at least, right? If it is true that Chinese Communist Party is actually is going to implement these measures, it will mean that there won't be any mass protests. It will stop eventually, right? And yeah, nobody will change the Communist Party, this regime, to anything better, and that's bad. That's bad for everybody. That's bad for the world. That's bad for the people of China. Kind of unfortunate. But okay, let's go to another one.